Hey, what's going on? Of course, to all of my affordable alternative book snobs out there, it's me, Nostalgia Allure. It's been a long time, guys. Welcome back to, of course, Book Shade, where we talk about affordability for us as alternative adult book snobs. All right. So, guys, we got a lot to cover in today's episode here, and I just want to make sure everything's looking good and everything's working properly. I've been having like some issues with like my setup and stuff, so I gotta make sure to check it here, but we're all good. Yes. All right, so for today's episode, guys, we got a lot to cover overall. Because what I've been doing the last couple of days, I've been waiting for a couple of packages to come in. Because guess what, guys? This is part one of my largest book haul ever. Okay, and these are all affordable books, and I'll explain the prices and stuff and what I got it for. But yeah, reading can be expensive like any other hobby. Okay. You know what I found out, guys? Buying books is equivalent almost to buying video game systems. There are some expensive ass books out here. Okay. So I'm all about, saving money. And for me, the first thing that I look at is getting a digital version. So an ebook version. But some of these books, I actually just wanted a physical copy, because this is the type of adult reader that I am. I'm visual as well as auditory, combination. So the way that I read is pretty much the following. I will, whether it's an ebook or physical book, I'll get it, and then I'll actually buy the audiobook version, and I'll actually listen and read at the same time. So that's how I'm able to kind of retain information a lot better, is by doing that. But that's just the type of learner that I am. Okay. So the second thing I want to cover too, well, on top of that, is my conclusion to the Women's History Month Readathon. And unfortunately, it was an epic failure. It was really bad, guys. I did not finish any of the books. And what I came to realize is I'm thinking, oh yeah, I'll do 4 or 5 books at a time. No, I have decided my goal is to read 2 books a month. I think that is feasible. I got a lot going on, guys. I got a room organization project. I hurt my leg. So I was at work and I hurt my leg. So right now I'm currently off. So I have 2 weeks off. No excuse. I needs to get the reading. Okay, yes, go on. But this was my current progress, guys, to conclude the Women's History Month Readathon. So I'll at least give you the percentages of how much I finished. It's quite embarrassing, actually. So oh my gosh, guys, I am living for this Bloodborne series book. There hasn't been the second part of the series that has come out yet. This is just the first part. Sickening. I mean, now this is the longest read I've ever done, actually. This book is about 438 pages, but it is pretty good. Now, there is a little bit of a slow burn romance, because this is a vampire romance kind of book. But damn, it's pretty good. Once you kind of get past the first 5 to 6 chapters, it really starts to pick up. There are action sequences in here. I live for it. I love Adam the Blood Hunter. Ooh, he is fine, and he's so stoic and powerful, and and I'll do a separate review on this once I finish it, because there's so many things to think about. There's so much going on in this book. But it's pretty decent. So I've been enjoying that. So far I'm on chapter 34, and I've completed 81% of this book. So like I am almost done. Like I would want to read, and then someone would ask me to do something. You know how it goes. Okay, so that's Bloodborne. Now the second book, and I had some other books, but I have not even touched those. The second book that I'm going to be focusing on is this one here, Civil Warriors by Tracy A. Ball. So far it's off to a good start, but I can't really give my full like opinion on it because I haven't completed it. But I will say it does go pretty quickly. But there were some parts of the book where I was just like, okay, well, this is just kind of adding conversation between the characters. But some of it was not necessary to me because it kind of slows down the pace of the story. But I've been enjoying it so far. But I've just kind of scratched the surface on this one. So for Civil Warriors, I've only completed a measly 10%, okay? This book is it's under 300 pages, or no, under 400. So it's a quick read. I think it's about 238 pages. I might be wrong, but it's a quick read. But it does kind of drag in the beginning part. But once you get past the prologue and I'm into the first half, then it starts to like pick up. This book does have the best way I can describe it, there is an interracial relationship, but the interracial relationship, it's interesting because at the time period that it does take place in, interracial relationships were pretty non-existent. So this is an interesting kind of take on it. So I'm still doing more research, guys, so we'll get a little bit deeper into it. But yeah, I've only completed 10% so far. So we'll see, you know, how this unfolds here. So that's what I've completed so far. So I love my Kindle, guys. Oh my gosh, like I live for my Kindle. Like it's like, yeah, I literally sleep with my Kindle. You know, sometimes I fall asleep on top of I did that once, guys. I was so tired and I was reading that I fell asleep on top of my Kindle. The mess. I'm surprised I didn't break it, okay, with my body weight. Good God. But all right, let's continue here with this largest ever affordable haul, part 1 here. And let me share with you what I got here, okay? So I would say the quality, guys, of these books, they go from like very good to about good. But there are some where I was like, it could be better, but I'll have to like tape them up to kind of keep them intact, the cover specifically. All right, so the first book that I got here, of course, you know I had to get this. This is George R.R. I cannot talk today. George R.R. Martin, and this is A Game of Thrones. So many people have hyped up this book series, so I bought all of them because I was like, I want to see what the big deal is. Like, why does everybody gag over this Game of Thrones? I'm also going to watch the show too, because some people like it, some people absolutely hated the season finale. But yeah, I just wanted to give it a shot. This is a thick read, okay? This has to be over 1,000 pages, but I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna challenge myself and read things out of my comfort zone, because there's always been this kind of conversation within the booktube community about, is it better to like stay in your lane and focus on reading niche-based content, so only focusing on romance? Like, that's how I started. But then I realized that it's good to kind of have a little bit of generalness, if you want to call it, with your reading, because it helps you to diversify your reading like genres and stuff. So I'm getting out of romance, and now I've been reading a lot of sci-fi fantasy stuff. So it is an acquired taste depending on who you're reading, but this, like every book list that I've seen about the fantasy and sci-fi genre, this is always in the top 10. So I want to see what the big fucking deal is. So I got this, and then I got this one. Unfortunately, this one was beat up, like really beat up. This is A Clash of Kings. So I got that. So this is the next next series of books here. But yeah, this one came up kind of beat up. I got both of these for around like $4. So not bad, not too bad. So it's pretty good. Let's see what else I got here. Okay, so the next series of books, I don't always hear people talking about them. But these books are, well, some of them are based off of a TV series, and then one of them is actually based off of the movie, and it has Gwyneth Paltrow. That's what I remember. But the author is Philippa Gregory, and I got a good deal on these. I got each one of these guys hardcover for like almost like between $3 to $4, and in decent condition too. So this is Philippa Gregory's The White Princess. And I believe I got like the whole series of these books. Then I got The Constant Princess. And then I also have The Three Sisters, Three Queens. But I love this time period of like the Renaissance, like that type of thing. It's like absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous time, actually. And then this is the one that's based off of that movie with Gwyneth Paltrow. It's called The Other Bullion Girl. And this book is always in like top 10 like best like historical like fiction. Because this is a historical fiction series. And for some reason, guys, I just started getting really into historical fiction. I greatly enjoy it. Because the genre of historical fiction is kind of like you're taking a real life historical event, and then you kind of add your own kind of like spin to it, or different alternate viewpoints and things like that. I think it's really cool. But the thing with historical fiction is it's always good to do your research, because sometimes historical fiction is not going to be accurate to that time period. It might be like an alternate universe. So it's always good to do your research before really getting into like certain historical fiction books. And yeah, so that's the main thing I got of Philippa Gregory. And then of course the first two of the Game of Thrones series here from George R.R. Martin. I keep saying Martin. Okay. So next I got here. Oh, hey, we have Ethan. Hey, Ethan, welcome to the program. And Ethan asks, what's your favorite book? Oh my gosh. That's like asking me who is my favorite pro wrestler. No. My favorite book, Ethan, has to be Interview with the Vampire. In case you guys don't know, I am a huge vampire romance like book fan. Like, I'm a stan, okay? And I just love like reading, just reading vampire books in general. And Interview with the Vampire, guys, was the first book that I actually finished cover to cover. I read it in a day. It was so enthralling to read about just the concept of being a journalist and sitting down with a vampire that is just candid about their experience. And just the way that Anne Rice writes her like vampire characters. My other favorite, of course, is Lestat. But just the way that she writes is so like it makes it's so compelling and moving. That's why I love her work. I've read all of the Vampire Chronicles. Now I know there's a book called Blood Communion that just came out recently. I just got it. Cannot wait to read it. So, but yeah, I would have to say Interview with the Vampire. Definitely. Interview with the Vampire is amazing. It's so well written. And the thing, and Anne Rice, guys, is really one of those foundation authors within vampire literature that kind of gave this humanistic quality to vampires, because if you look at Dracula by Bram Stoker, Dracula has this, like, non-human, but still has this, like, sex appeal in a way, but you still fear him because it's, fucking Dracula. But with Anne Rice's vampires, there's a seductive sexiness to them, but they're still, even though they're not human, they possess human qualities. And I think that's what really, like, Anne Rice, guys, is responsible to me for changing the viewpoint of how people look at, like, vampires, and not just seeing them as creatures, but they were once, human. And it's the last time I've seen that kind of portrayal is the Stooky Stackhouse series by Charlene Harris. Also recommend. Good God. And we have On Fire. Hey, welcome to the program. And okay, so On Fire asks, hello, welcome. What was the best book that you got from the book haul? So let me show you here. So, okay. So I'm a hypocrite because I said that I would never read YA. And for those of you who are not familiar, YA stands for young adult. But there are books that are YA, but technically they should be new adult, or at least like YA crossover. But these books to me are new adult just because of the way that they were portrayed in the television show. And I wanted to do to see the difference between the show and the books. And what I'm talking about here is The Vampire Diaries. Now, technically I shouldn't like The Vampire Diaries because the show in certain parts is very cheesy. It's very cheesy. So people were recommending to me that the books were a lot better. Of course, that's always going to be the case because with the book, you're going to have more of a deeper description of the characters. And there were a lot of changes in comparison from the book to the TV show. And I'm actually watching the TV show. I'm in season 2. And I will be doing reactions as well here on the program for Vampire Diaries, because I want to see what the big deal is, So to me personally, yeah, Vampire Diaries is considered a YA book series, but I say it's new adult just because when you watch the show, the way that the characters act is not like how I would say, because Vampire Diaries, it takes place in high school. But when you watch the show, and even from reading, like I've read a little bit of the first half here. This is the awakening and the struggle. So this is kind of the more compact version. So you get 2 books in one in this one. So that's book 1. And then book 2 is the Fury and Dark Reunion. So this is like the beginning half. So I have that. And guys, I got all of these books that you see here for the exception of the Salvation series for like, how much did I pay? I think it was like $10. Great deal. Next we have the second half, which is called The Return. And then we have Return Nightfall. But yeah, like Vampire Diaries, very, very, that's what really like boosted the, the vampire TV craze for a while. It's died down, definitely. Some of the best vampire shows to me, besides Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I love Angel as well. They have a lot of good shows in the UK. I noticed that, like, if you really want some good vampire, like, TV shows and stuff, check out shows coming out of the UK, guys. There's some really good, really, really good. I haven't seen Vampire Academy because some people are like, oh, you would love that. And I'm like, we'll see. We'll see. So I got that. What else did I get here? I also have part 2 of the Return saga. They're called sagas, kind of like Twilight, which I also have, and I'll be reading those too because I just want to see why. Because I see so many like adults reading these book series, so I want to see what the big deal is. So this is Return part 2. This is Shadow Souls. And then the final part of the Return saga here is the Return Volume 3, which is Midnight. So yeah, they kind of come in, well, they're arcs. I wouldn't say saga, but I would say arc. Oh, and On Fire says, I mean, I get you. I didn't like the show just because I felt I'm a bit too old to enjoy it, but I can understand if the books are better. And On Fire says, so you like reading vamp books, huh? Yeah, I love reading. Like, guys, like half of my book collection is vampires. It really is. And then the other half is paranormal romance, and then the other half of it is what you would call I have some BDSM romances as well, and whew, some of those are steamy, man. Like, sometimes you gotta sit down with a fan and say, oh, good God. And On Fire says, Interview with the Vampire. Yes, I keep telling people that if you are a vampire book connoisseur, okay, Interview with the Vampire is a great foundation point. I would also say Charlene Harris if you want kind of like an alternative view on the vampire, because with Charlene Harris, she still follows the traditional principles of the literary vampire, right? Where there's still things such as like, okay, you have to be invited in before you can come in, but yet the vampires are still really modern. So that's why I think True Blood blew up the way that it did at the time. Especially for if you're into cosplay and stuff, it's really easy to be like a True Blood vampire because you can wear regular clothes. You just, pop some fangs in, put some makeup on or whatever. But you don't have to do much. Whereas with Interview with the Vampire, even though, yeah, they have a little bit of modernism, but there's still the classism that comes with the vampire lore. So you're getting like what On Fire is saying, you're getting half vamp, half smut. But I like some smut, so that's just me though. I enjoy some good steamy. Yes, I do enjoy. What else do I have? Oh yeah, Star Trek. I am a huge Star Trek fan, so I started collecting some of the books. I won't be able to collect all the Star Trek books in my lifetime, though. There are too many, so many series. But I do have the Strange New World series, which I haven't had a chance to read yet. And I also have some Next Generation books because I love Next Generation. I go hard for Picard. Oh my gosh, he is so hot. He is totally my thing. Yes, God. But yeah, I got those. What else did I get here? I also got the other half of this arc is coming. Hopefully I get it tomorrow so then I can do a part 2. So this is the Hunters arc, and this one is my first hardcover in this series here. So this is Hunter's Phantom, and this one I think I got for like $5, but I mean, come on, man, good condition. Oh, and make sure, guys, with this current like coronavirus situation, what I do is I did leave my packages outside for a little bit, but then I wipe everything down. Like, I disinfected the package, opened it up, I disinfected all the covers and stuff. And one of the books that I got was like dirty, so I'm glad I disinfected that to clean it up and stuff like that. So that's just me, I disinfect all of my books before touching them. And even then, after I'm done touching these books and putting them away, I go wash my hands before touching my face. So just saying. All right, so finally here, this is the last half of, well, the last half of the main arcs within Vampire Diaries, because then what happened is the first couple of books were written by LJ Smith, but then the other half was written by somebody else. Like there were like, I think two, or like there were multiple writers after that. So there's a continuation on the main series, and it's called Vampire Diaries, Stefan's Diary. I wish they would come out with a Damon one, because I am team Damon all the way. Like on the show, he is totally like my type. Yeah, he's a little, you know, jerky and stuff, but he, within all of that foolishness, he is really sweet, you know, and he has this sexy darkness side. I live for Damon. I go hard for him, so you will realize that as you watch this program. But let's go into the second half here, or the final, I would say the final arc of the main series here. And this is Salvation. So I have volume 1, which is Unseen. And this is what I like to do to my books, is get some really good, hard, like clear tape. And then I'll, you know, tape it just to protect the cover. So I do like that, definitely. And then we have volume 2 with his sexy ass face on there, Salvation. The Salvation Unspoken, I mean. I tell you guys, Damon just makes me drool. And I cannot wait. I have something coming too that, I cannot wait to show you guys too. Revolving around Vampire Diaries is pretty cool. And then the final half here of the Salvation arc is volume 3, which is Unmasked. So I pretty much have like majority of the arcs. The only one I'm waiting for is volume 2 and 3 of the Hunter series. And then, because I was like, you know what, I'll just get all of them, because unfortunately, guys, I was so surprised. These books are so popular that they're hard to get a hold of. Like, I would put one, you know, I would get one and put it in my cart, sold out already. It's crazy. Just like Charlene Harris, guys, I was so lucky. I cannot wait to show you what I got in regards to books from Charlene Harris, because she's so popular too. So those books are flying off the shelves. And now with this coronavirus situation, you know, everybody's reading, which is a good thing. But man, you know, especially these series, like I noticed Game of Thrones is flying off the shelves. Vampire Diaries, like certain volumes are flying off the shelves. Charlene Harris. Anne Rice, not so much. I can still find like majority of the Vampire Chronicles series. I've read the Mayfair Witches series. I didn't really enjoy that. There was a crossover book too. I forgot the name of that one, between the Mayfair and Vampire Chronicles, and that one was okay. I didn't really enjoy that one too much. But there's supposed to be a TV series or something like that coming out too, so I'm excited about that. But yeah, that's my first half, guys. So that's what I got so far. So probably in the next like couple of weeks, I'll continue part 2 here, because what happened is I wish I could have bought everything together, but I had to kind of buy it in bits and pieces, and they're all being shipped at like different times. So I was really shocked that this first half even came. So they kind of came in 3 like separate like packages. But yeah, I'm excited to read Philippa Gregory, because I've heard a lot of good things about her and her historical fiction. I also got books from C.W. Gardner, which was highly recommended too. For those of you who may have missed like some of the other hauls I've done, I don't do too many because I have a limited bookshelf. I really do. So far, this is what I have in regards to like some of my vampire books that are new. So recently, I got The Historian, because that one was really highly recommended. It's on a lot of book lists as being like one of the best like historical fiction books about like if you want to learn about more about the history of the foundation of like Dracula and stuff like that. So I was like, I definitely have to get that to read. I also got Dracula in Love because I like reading spin-offs of the main Dracula series too. I know there's one called Mina, and I have that one, so I have to read that as well. But I got Dracula in Love. I also got Dracula My Love, which is like it's kind of like if Mina like did not go with Jonathan Harker and she just went with Dracula, and she kind of explains why like she's so enthralled by him and everything. It's pretty, I've heard it's pretty bomb. It's pretty good to read. So I got that. I also got Dr. Stoker is like the great like grandnephew of Bram Stoker, which is cool. And he partnered up with 2 different authors, and there are 2 different spin-offs. So the prequel, so you have to, okay, this is the order if you're into Dracula, like reading Dracula. The order from what I've read is you're supposed to read Dracula first, and then Dr. Stoker and J.D. Barker did Dracul, which is the prequel to Dracula. So you read Dracula, then you read Dracul, and then Docker made another book called Dracula the Undead. That is the official sequel to Dracula. So after you read Dracul, you're supposed to read Dracula the Undead. So I have all 3 of those. Cannot wait to do a book roast on that. A book roast is my commentary kind of program. So I just like to, talk about certain chapters, break things down, cool stuff like that. I also, I got all of C.W. Gardner's books. I just recently got this book by Rachel Hawkins called Debutantes and Daggers. So think of like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but like down south. Genius idea for a book series. So I got the first 2 books. And you know where I found this book, guys? You will not believe it. I found it at the Dollar Tree. So check your Dollar Trees, guys, because you can find some good books in there for $1. Come on. What else? Oh my gosh, guys. Oh, I was so excited. I almost cried. Because I love L.A. Banks, and I've always wanted to read her Vampire Huntress series. Because it's very rare, guys, to have a woman of color as a vampire hunter. There's some series out there now, but L.A. Banks to me really helped to open that, open that door. So I bought her entire Vampire Huntress series. We're definitely going to be reading those. I've been reading Lindsay Sands, her Arginal series. I'm not gonna lie, a quick bite, it was okay. A little dry for my taste, but I'm going to get all those books and read through them too. There's like 30 books, over 30 books in that series. Lots of reading I gotta do. And so we got Twilight, and I bought this series by Brenda Joy called there's like the Dark Embrace, Dark Victory, Dark Lover, Dark Rival, and Dark Seduction. And these are all like paranormal romance. And so I think this is like my game plan. Like I'm trying to read 2 books a month. So right now I'm focusing on reading. Well, actually, I have a book on, the Mademoiselle Chanel. I'm going to read that. And then I will finish up reading It's called Bloodborne. So those are the 2 that I'm focusing on now. But then after I finish that, I'm going to get started with Vampire Diaries. So that way, I can, once I'm like finished reading the book, I can watch the TV show, and then I can, see the differences. Then after me finish reading Vampire Diaries, I think I'm going to go into the Dracula books. I just want to read all of my vampire book stuff first and then get into historical fiction. So I have a lot to read. And I have a lot more books coming, guys, and I won't tell you the other series that I got, but I literally am jumping up and down because I've always wanted to read this and this particular book series. So, all right. So with that being said, guys, thanks so much for watching once again. So this is part 1 of this massive, affordable book haul. So, I cannot wait. So I cannot wait. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. And like I always say, enjoy affordable reading. I'll talk to you guys very soon. Take care.